Hey students, let's take a quick look at how to get started on your MyStatLab homework assignments and quizzes. So let's say you've watched an instructional video. So for example, let's say you went to modules on our Canvas site and you went to my tutorial videos and you watched the video on 1.1 in which I gave an introduction to the first section of the course, statistical and critical thinking. Well, there's a bunch of definitions in there and a bunch of terminology words explained for statistics, things like that. So let's say you're looking that through and you're saying, all right, well, am I ready to do a homework assignment now that I've seen what 1.1 is all about? Well, I encourage everyone to just go give it a try. So let's take a look at the assignments in MyStatLab and discuss how they're set up and when you'll feel you'll be able to go and do them after watching some instructional materials, either a video or reading the book or what have you. So if I go to My Lab and Mastering, and then I click on the Open My Lab and Mastering, then it will take me over to the main page on MyStatLab. And the assignments can be found by just clicking on Assignments on the left. And you'll see that what we're going to be working on most of the time in the class are homework assignments and quizzes. And these are paired up. Homework and quiz number 1, homework number 2, quiz number 2, etc. These come in pairs. And each of the quizzes is on the exact same material as the homework assignment that it was paired with. So the first homework is on the first chapter, sections 1 through 3 of chapter 1. And the quiz will be on those exact same sections as the homework was. So let's say you got started by looking at 1.1. Now, you don't actually, to get started on the homework, need to have read all 3 of these sections. You could have just perhaps read the first section in the book or watched a video about the first section, and then maybe you want to see if you're able to then do the problems for the first section. If I open up the homework assignment, there's a total of 36 problems on our first homework from all 3 sections. But they are in order, so the first third or so of the problems will be from section 1, the middle problems will be from section 2, and the ending problems will be from section 3. So you could start at the beginning, even if you'd only read section 1, and work on the problems from section 1. And if I click on one of these problems, just to see, it tells you right up here which section the problem is from. Chapter 1, section 1, and in this case, problem number 7 from the test bank of problems. So that means that you could keep working on the problems until the number up here went to 1.2, and then you had moved into section 2. And if you hadn't gotten to that part yet, well, then you could just stop your work on the homework at that point, go off and learn about 1.2, and then come back. Other than the due date of the assignment, there is no time limit on how much time you spend working on these. You can skip around on the problems all you want. The problems are infinitely repeatable, and you just keep doing it until you get it right, and then you get the point after you get it right. And you will accumulate little green check marks next to the problems as you get them right. And your goal is to complete these 36 problems successfully, even if they had to be repeated to do so, before the due date, which we can see here is June 18th. And so the idea is that you work on the assignment over time, and maybe you skip a problem because you don't understand it and you go back and read some more about that section or watch another video or ask about it from me with some office time or something like that. But in general, you can get started right away once you've at least had some exposure to the material covered. Now, let me go back to the assignments, and I do want to point out that it's a little bit different for the quiz. You don't really want to go for the quiz until you've completed the homework successfully. So there's a little bit of repeatability with the quiz. You are able to do any of these quizzes 2 times, and it takes your best score. But there's a 60-minute time limit, and the problems on the quiz could be anywhere from the whole chapter. So let's say I click and open the quiz. So it'll warn you you have this 60-minute limit. In this case, there's 12 problems. There's typically about 4 problems per section. So since there were 3 sections in chapter 1, that ends up being 12 problems on the quiz from chapter 1. But when you're working on the quiz, unlike the homework, it doesn't show you which section the problem is from, and they're not in order. They're just sort of scrambled and given to you in a random order. And you can even see there's a little clock clicking down here for the 1 hour that you have. Now you can still do them in any order you want, and you can skip over problems, and you have a full hour before you have to submit this attempt. But it is more like a quiz than a homework because it's timed, you don't know exactly where the problems came from, and the help options are gone as well. So I want to point that out so that you recognize that the best approach to be successful on these, I didn't get any of those right, would be to work on the homework over time, get all of your questions sorted out, and then when you're done with all 3 sections and your homework is successful, hopefully then you'll be in a position to do well on the quiz. And the problems on the quiz are randomly chosen by the computer from the same test bank that the problems on the homeworks were drawn from. So they should be very similar to what you were seeing on the homework assignment. So once you've learned about chapter 1, go ahead and jump right in and start working on your first homework, and then hopefully you can get these both done by the due date. So reach out to me if you have any questions. Best of luck.